Seen and Heard by Venkat, a curation of AI and digital news and views pilot. Episode 1, OpenAI wants AI to help humans train AI. In an interesting twist, AI has been inserted into the loop where humans were already giving feedback to large language models like ChatGPT, according to Will Knight in Wired. He says in developing ChatGPT, OpenAI pioneered the use of reinforcement learning with human feedback, or RLHF. This technique uses input from human testers to fine-tune an AI model so that its output is judged to be more coherent, less objectionable, and more accurate. Enter Critic GPT, a new model fine-tuned by OpenAI. Unlike ChatGPT, which interacts directly with users, Critic GPT focuses on code critiques. Remarkably, human judges found Critic GPT's code evaluations superior 63% of the time. This development opens exciting possibilities beyond code-related tasks. So where does this lead us? According to Knight, OpenAI envisions a future where AI collaborates with humans to enhance training processes. By integrating AI into the loop, human trainers can be made even smarter and more reliable. French startups are worried about the fate of their immigrant AI and tech talents, with polls in France suggesting voters are about to swing toward the far right or hard left. The AI industry is starting to freak out, writes Morgan Meeker in Wired. Morgan cites Roxane Vaza, director of the startup campus Station F in Paris, as saying, "With the two options that are leading in the polls, we could take a real step back," which is quite scary and quite disheartening. The director of the French incubator goes on to highlight the issues that are rattling the nascent AI startup sector in France. The far-right's anti-immigration stance is an important concern for the startups. According to Morgan, Macron's government had French Tech Visa program, which allows non-European startup founders, investors, and employees to move to France with their families. There are 65 nationalities among the 1,000 startups in that campus. What will be their fate? Also, the article also mentions Google and Microsoft's expansion plans in France and Meta's presence over the decade. Will the tech giants invest or continue if there is restriction on immigrant talent? With some successful AI companies such as Mistral, Qt, Hugging Face, and H in France, in addition to immigration, there is also worry about the left's plan to tax super profits, says Morgan. One thing he says both the far right and left agree on is on reintroducing wealth taxes. P.S. At the time of publishing this pilot episode, projections show that far right have lost again in France. For AI giants, smaller is sometimes better. Tom Dotan and Deepa Sitharaman report in Wall Street Journal of July 6 that tech companies are thinking smaller as they slim down AI software to make it cheaper, faster, and more specialized. They add, the smaller models also use less computing power and thus cost less to respond to each query. These models are trained on industry-specific knowledge and data sets, which reduce the cost to train them. They are also based on much less parameters. The report goes to point out that for many companies that would not share their internal communications, legal documents, or sales numbers with a public LLM like ChatGPT, such smaller models will be both cost-effective and help keep the data in-house. In an era of fakes, how to know when someone online is real Cordelia James report in Wall Street Journal of July 4th that it is harder than ever to know whether that person that's showing up in your messages is real or not. She advises not to respond quickly to any intriguing messages from strangers or those who could be pretending to be our relatives. Her tip is to do some vetting before taking things further. Another advice from her is for us to pause to think about how the sender would have gotten specific information about us. As said in the lyrics of the famous Hindi song, Tum hi ne dard diya hai, tum hi dawa dena. You gave me the pain, so you give me the remedy. We must now pray to big tech to develop some solutions. Her report also mentions that Google is building a tool for Android phone users that alerts them when a potential scam is happening during a call. It will be an opt-in feature for it to detect conversation patterns commonly associated with fraud. Hope you enjoyed the curation. The links to the articles and news items are in the show notes.